This is RTV6 News at 7, working for you.
Welcome in. Restaurants in Indianapolis are now open for sit-down customers, but only if they sit outside. The slow reopening from the pandemic also includes some shutdowns that some business owners say will leave them shut out. Good evening. I'm Amanda Starantino at the WRTV studio.
And I'm Mark Mullins reporting from my home, practicing social distancing tonight. We can tell you that a lot of the restaurants along Mass Ave have started allowing customers to return, but they have to stick with outdoor seating.
And they must operate at 50% capacity or less. Groups are limited to 6 people or fewer. Many restaurants are also asking people to wear masks when they can, or if they go inside to use the restroom. You will also notice more space between tables than you're used to seeing. Not all restaurant owners think closing the street and providing this outdoor seating is a good idea. Some say they lose parking spots for carryout, and they worry about people gathering in large groups. And Mass Ave is not the only downtown street that's closed to car traffic. To help restaurants provide outdoor dining, we shot footage today of crews shutting down part of Georgia Street. Georgia is blocked off from Pennsylvania to Illinois Street, and Illinois Street is closed from Georgia to Market Street, and the southern half of Monument Circle is also closed. All of the closures are expected to last until the July 4th weekend. And we continue to update you on the numbers showing how COVID-19 is impacting Hoosier Health. 27 new deaths from the coronavirus were confirmed by the state health department today. That brings the total to 1,791. The state has also surpassed 30,000 total cases. Marion County continues to have the most deaths and cases in the state, with 528 deaths and 8,928 confirmed cases. More than 200,000 Hoosiers have been tested so far. And the pandemic has taken a toll on the economy, and there's more evidence of that in the new state unemployment numbers out today. Indiana's unemployment rate for the month of April is 5 times higher than the rate in March. April's unemployment rate of 16.9% is the highest in the state's history. It's a remarkable jump from the March rate of 3.6%. And today, the city of Carmel offered some past and present remembrances in a virtual Memorial Day ceremony presented on the city's Facebook page. Fishers will be featuring a day-long observance of Memorial Day on Monday, also online. There are still a few in-person programs happening this weekend. You can find a list of Memorial Day activities around Central Indiana at our website, theindychannel.com.
With many COVID-19 restrictions still in place, this Memorial Day weekend is going to be dramatically different for millions of Americans. ABC's Oreen Shaw has the story of how travelers plan to take advantage of the upcoming weekend in a safer way.
It's one of the biggest travel weekends of the year, but many Americans are expected to mark it in a much smaller way.
I think logically, people will venture gingerly out and do local things before they get on an airplane. That's just the way it's going to be.
A U.S. Travel Association survey last month found only 14% of travelers feel safe taking a domestic flight. 17% feel safe at a hotel or resort. With more travelers comfortable hitting the roads over taking to the skies, the CEO of the RV rental platform, RV Share, says they've seen 1,000% increase in bookings this past month.
I think the travel industry is seeing right now the desire to travel remains there. The concern about being away from crowds is also there. So I think RVs kind of bridge a nice gap of allowing you to get out and see the world.
Seeing the world from the comfort of your vehicle could also be much cheaper. Gas prices have hit their lowest levels for a Memorial Day weekend in over 2 decades. In some places as low as $1.50 a gallon. The national average at $1.94. That's giving some business owners a little hope. Even though Yosemite National Park is closed until at least June, business owners are hoping travelers will visit nearby resorts and restaurants that are now back open.
This is our peak time. So from Memorial Day to Labor Day weekend, this is where we make our money. And so if we don't have that, it's going to be a big dent in our local economy.
Just make sure your drive doesn't take you to a city that still has strict stay-at-home orders, or else you could get a hefty ticket. Officials in South Lake Tahoe say visiting will get you a $1,000 fine.
If you are a second homeowner, it is okay to come here and live in your house. While we definitely love visitors, right now is not the time.
And if you decide to venture out and travel internationally, take precautions too. Some countries are requiring a mandatory 2-week quarantine. Other places like Greece are planning to give coronavirus tests at the airport. Zoreen Shah, ABC News, Los Angeles.
There are several headlines in my forecast. This is one of them. A daily chance for thunderstorms over the next 7 days, mainly in the afternoon hours during the heat of the day. So I'd say in that 1 to about 7 o'clock time frame. Across central Indiana now, we've had a mixture of clouds and sunshine through the day, and we made it into the 70s. That was the first threshold we had to reach. Tomorrow, it will be stepping into the 80s that we anticipate, and that's where we'll stay. Edinburgh's at 77. 72 in Zionsville. Regionally, temperatures still in the 70s. These are about average for this time of year. Overnight lows will consistently warm up and be closer to 70 degrees most of next week. The cool pool of air that's been hanging out in the Great Lakes and Midwest is starting to give way, and a south wind will go to work and make sure our temperatures get into the low 80s tomorrow, push the mid to upper 80s consistently Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, despite the fact that we'll have a chance for thunderstorms. There's your daily chance for showers and thunderstorms, generally around 40% each day. And as you look at your Saturday planner, already by noon, almost to 80 degrees. Those afternoon temperatures will warm into the lower 80s. More on the location of some of the thunderstorms, and we'll look at the rest of the 7-day forecast and share a couple more headlines with you coming up.
Coming up, new questions about the unproven drug President Trump says he's been taking to prevent COVID-19.
Plus, the quarantine 15 is real. New findings that seem to prove that being in lockdown is opening up a whole new health issue.
CERF.org.
This is RTV6 News at 7, working for you.
New estimates from the CDC show about a third of people who have the coronavirus don't develop symptoms. They now think about 35% of the virus infections are asymptomatic. That's a significant jump compared to what health officials initially thought. They also say, in general, about 40% of transmissions happen before people start feeling sick. The disclosure raises serious concerns about how states and local officials can prevent outbreaks if about a third of Americans infected by the virus don't even know it. A new study finds a drug touted and taken by President Trump is linked to a higher risk of death in coronavirus patients. According to the study, seriously ill COVID-19 patients who were treated with the hydroxychloroquine and chloroquine were more likely to die or develop dangerous heart arrhythmias. The study looked at more than 96,000 COVID-19 patients on 6 continents. Nearly 15,000 of them were treated with one of the 2 anti-malarial drugs or one of those drugs combined with an antibiotic. All 4 of the treatments were linked with a higher risk of dying in the hospital, and serious abnormal heart rates were more common among patients receiving any of the 4 treatments. The FDA recently cautioned against the use of the drug to treat coronavirus patients outside of hospitals. That study was published today in the medical journal The Lancet.
The World Health Organization out with an alarming statistic. The agency says at least 80 million babies are missing out on crucial vaccinations due to the coronavirus pandemic. The WHO cites the fact that people are often reluctant to go to clinics for immunization services out of concern for their health and the health of their children. The pandemic has disrupted vaccination programs in at least 68 countries around the world. Well, you've probably heard people joke about the quarantine 15. They're talking about gaining weight with all this time spent at home. And doctors say it's become a very real thing, and it's not a laughing matter. Half of the women and a quarter of the men who took part in a recent poll by WebMD said they've gained weight since lockdown measures started. Several studies show people are eating more baked treats and carb-heavy meals and consuming more alcohol. Doctors say this pattern can be especially dangerous for patients who are already obese. People in that group appear to be more at risk for some of the more severe symptoms of the coronavirus.
A warning tonight from the CDC, aggressive mice and rats. could be a problem due to the coronavirus pandemic. The agency says community-wide restaurant closures are leading to a decrease in food available to rodents, which is what they primarily rely on. And some areas have reported an increase in rodent activity as rodents search for new sources of food. The CDC says that during these times, it is important to continue to practice safe rodent control measures like removing food sources, water, and shelter for rodents. Other practices include getting rid of garbage frequently and thoroughly cleaning areas with signs of rodent activity.
They are still closed in Marion, Monroe, Cass, and Lake counties, but gyms in other counties were allowed to reopen today. And one owner was so excited to get back to business, she opened the doors the minute she was allowed at exactly 12:01 a.m. Our Alyssa Donovan has that story.
The owner said that since they are a 24-hour gym, they usually have people working out at those hours, which is why they decided to open up at exactly 12:01 a.m. so that everyone could get their workout in today. Owner Amanda Barkus spent the day Thursday preparing for her gym to reopen after its 2-month closure. Thanks to the space they have, they were able to move their workout equipment to a safe distance apart so that they don't have to rope off every other machine like some gyms will have to. Gym staff will also be sanitizing areas like shower rooms after each person and cleaning equipment throughout the day. Barkus says their decision to open right away was met with positivity from their clients.
I'm kind of excited. I think everyone is, looking forward to just being back in the gym and seeing their friends again, even if that means, social distancing, is still being able to have face-to-face conversations.
The gym is running a special right now for those whose regular gyms are maybe not open quite yet. A 3-month membership for $150. The owner says right now they're going to have their gym staff members wearing masks according to CDC guidelines, but people coming in to work out will not be required to. I'm Alyssa Donovan, RTV6.
Alyssa, thank you. Coming up tonight, all new at 11, a lot of changes have been made at Tyson plants across the country because of the thousands of workers who tested positive for COVID-19. The meat plant in Logansport had to close for nearly 2 weeks because the virus was so widespread. Tonight on the news at 11, Cornelius Hocker talks to a Tyson executive who says their company wants their workers and community to know safety for everyone is their top priority.
With face coverings becoming the new normal, it's making it difficult for the hard of hearing to understand people. But there's a transparent solution to this problem. We're going to tell you about it coming up next. Kevin.
We'll jump to midsummer temperatures, not just for tomorrow or Sunday or Memorial Day. Until further notice, this is what we expect. Temperatures in the 80s. Back in a minute.
Shopping. Donato's. Every piece is important.
Well, chances are by now you have one or a few face masks at home.
But with more Americans being urged to wear them, it's hard to see facial expressions. And for those who rely on lip reading to communicate, it's really difficult. Chris Conte shows us how one group has found a see-through solution that might benefit all of us.
As we shield ourselves from the virus, we've lost something. A smile, a glance, a reassuring gesture, covered and hidden by a mask.
You look at people's faces because a person's face tells you so much and it conveys so much.
As an interpreter for Brigham and Women's Hospital in Boston, the inability to use facial expressions for James Wiggins has been particularly challenging, especially for COVID-19 patients who are deaf.
They could still see me signing and using my hands, but a lot of the message would be missed.
In addition to sign language, many hard of hearing patients rely on lip reading to communicate. Traditional masks make that nearly impossible. But James and his colleagues have found a clear solution.
If I had a mask like this one, then as you can see my lips.
It may not seem like much, but that transparent piece of plastic is a game changer. Suddenly, James's mouth is accessible again. Patients who rely on lip reading to communicate can see what James is saying.
So having this clear shield, this enables them to be able to see my lips.
That it really has removed barriers for these patients.
Niv Patterson and Dr. Sherry Blowett both work at the hospital and have seen the impact these transparent masks have had.
For our patients now to be able to lip read, to be able to see our emotions come through the mask, especially where we're in a time where we have to social distance, it means everything to them.
Doctors across this hospital and others have also noticed these masks and are asking for them. James believes it's because they're offering patients the chance to see doctors and nurses smile.
When someone smiles, it puts you at ease and it puts your defenses down.
While there may be no cure for COVID-19, these masks are at least helping to ease some of its side effects. In Boston, I'm Chris Conti reporting.
It's easy to lose track of how quickly Indiana weather changes from the 50s yesterday to this afternoon 75-degree high with sunshine finally breaking through the cloud cover. We may have an isolated shower in the southern portion of the state overnight into the morning hours, but generally dry. Then we'll be into the 80s during the day tomorrow. Temperatures will stay there once we get there. Let's work our way from north to south, just surveying temperatures. You'll find that we're all in this together. 71 is the temperature in Marion. First day that we've had temperatures near average in quite a while. Mid-70s in Frankfort and Clinton County. The other part of the benefit of this, getting a little sunshine there, is starting to dry the ground out a bit because we will add thunderstorms on a daily basis. Now, I don't think we'll all see thunderstorms each day. They'll be hit and miss. But with the humidity, the heavier rain potential will be there. Middle to upper 70s south. Spencer and Greensburg both at 78 degrees. Memorial Day weekend, a little different, obviously, with the Motor Speedway quiet. Temperatures on race day, or what would have been race day, 86, 40% chance of thunderstorms. The warmest temperatures will come early next week. Monday, Memorial Day, 87, a 40% chance for thunderstorms. Temperatures will feel warmer, though, because of the humidity. We'll be up toward the top of the scale. That really starts to kick in Sunday and then early next week. And that humidity, one of the reasons that we'll have this daily chance for thunderstorms. Never overwhelming. I think each day, watch Kyle tomorrow and on Sunday. During the evening broadcast, we will have some thunderstorms around. Difficult to pinpoint exactly where because there will be no kind of forced nature to these. They'll just be randomly popping up. Chance in the morning tomorrow, then we wait until the afternoon hours. After 1 or 2 is when they start to pop up. South and east of Greensburg at 7 a.m. There's some of the overnight rain that I was mentioning is possible. Then between noon and about 4 o'clock, you begin to see the areas where we've got some reds and oranges, a little heavier downpours as these thunderstorms bubble up during the heat of the day. Then as we get to the evening hours after sunset, they start to calm back down and disappear. There are the temperatures in the low 80s tomorrow afternoon. They'll be in the mid to upper 80s on Sunday, Monday as well. Temperatures Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, just count them, all in the 80s. We've got consistently warm temperatures, humid conditions with a daily chance for rain. We'll be back with more WRTV News after this.
And a tour.
Welcome back. A popular brewery in Greenwood made the transition to carry out only. Now it's welcoming customers back inside with the mandated restrictions. Our Brad Brown shows how the community has supported Oak and Barrel throughout the pandemic and vice versa.
Down in Greenwood, the OB is one of the OGs of Indiana's craft brewing industry.
You know, when this first happened, my brewers were skeptical how much beer they need to brew. Then 2 weeks into it, they were scurrying to make a bunch more beer because we were going through so fast.
Oak and Barrel was able to make the quick adjustment to carry out service only. Now they're welcoming customers back into their dining room, and the vibe is coming back as well.
They're happy. They want to drink beer, and it makes me happy. You know, it's nice to see kind of somewhat of the normalcy, the noise level and the sights of people drinking beer and acting normal is a great feeling.
For more than 25 years, Oak and Barrel has been brewing up some of Indiana's best beers. Owner Quan Casey and his staff were able to weather through the past 8 weeks.
We've done some great marketing, and our regular customers appreciate it. They come get their growler and 6-packs, and people have been buying kegs and stuff, so we've been good.
The Oak and Barrel team is also giving back to those working on the front lines. Quan has a personal connection, and his generosity has spread throughout the Greenwood community.
I have a daughter who's a nurse at a hospital in Texas. And I don't know what she's going through with ICU units. And I have such a close ties with a Franciscan hospital here in Indy. And I wanted to do something for the nurses. And that kind of started a chain reaction. Other business people say, hey, I'm helping you, I'm helping the nurses. let me pay for next meal. So we've been doing a lot of meals.
The suds and the smiles are coming back. Hopefully a little more with each week ahead.
I emphasize to my staff and my customers, it's baby steps. We don't want to mess it up. We want to keep the numbers flat and going down so we can continue doing this until we get back to fully, open 100%.
Working for you in Greenwood, Brad Brown, RTV6.
No surprise, temperatures tomorrow into the 80s. The thunderstorms develop in the afternoon, but again, widely scattered. Most areas will stay dry. Amanda?
Thank you for making RTV6 your choice for news. Our next newscast is tonight at 11. Kevin, Mark, and I will see you then.